All right, ladies and gentlemen, good Monday morning. Welcome aboard Full Throttle, knocking out a three free days of complimentary live trading and training here at Top Gun Options. Why? Because there's a lot going on. Obviously, in the psychedelic space and earnings this week, I think over 40% of the S&P 500 is reporting earnings this week, are reporting earnings this week. Use proper grammar, which is going to determine the health of this rally. I mean, this is a monster run in the S&P 500. So this is a big week. We're either heading up or we're heading down, and obviously, what's going on in Iran and all that stuff is still on the forefront as well. Um, all right. Let me get back to my slides here because we are doing a little bit of a full throttle. So just give you an idea of what the flight schedule looks like. Man, real quick. I mean, it just doesn't even, they tried to shoot the president again. And this just people are nuts. Like there's a good portion of people in this country who are just nuts, right? If the guy had succeeded in killing the president this weekend, they would have celebrated. The fact that the guy didn't succeed, it was staged. I mean, hell, you even got people like Brian Stetler going, "Are you people nuts?" Like, so it's good to see like some people going like, "We have absolutely nuts in our own party. It's staged." So Donald Trump or the Republic or somebody got a Kamala Harris voter donor teacher from California to take the fall to go to prison for the rest of his life to stage it so he can get a ballroom. I mean, you can't. I just didn't want to start like this, but man, people are just nuts. It's people are nuts. Be very careful, man. People are nuts. All right, so the SecNav was fired because of shipbuilding disputes. So here we go. Monday, you're in. We're going to do what's called the primary live trade brief. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. The S&P 500. We got Amazon earnings this week. Big week. Very big week, like I said. And tomorrow we're going to do what's called AR, accelerated retirement. I might even swap these for today, though. And this is the power of doing a live trade brief, man. I shuck and jive with whatever the market is showing me. You know, and we'll talk about Iran here in a little bit. And then we're going to be done. Monday, Tuesday is going to be what we call full throttle here at Top Gun Options. And then I threw on an extra day Wednesday to talk about our newest live trading service here at Top Gun Options called Solo AI where we only trade, you ready for it? The AI names. We have 10 names that I'm targeting in the AI sector for max profit. Make sure you come Wednesday, and I'm going to give you a 15-page proprietary hedge fund doc about the 10 names we're targeting, the price targets, the intel, the up to the minute intel. So Solo AI is its own standalone service, but we'll cover that on Wednesday morning. So full throttle is primary and what's called accelerated retirement, and AI is its own standalone service. Usually that's flopped. In full throttle weeks, we go inverted because I was inverted. Did you see Top Gun 3 is coming out? Maverick faces his toughest enemy, the VA, right? After three ejections, uh, thinking he's responsible for his best friend's death, combat trauma, the VA is going to tell him none of his injuries are service related, right? So anyway, so we're inverted. So we usually do solo AI on Mondays and primary, uh, Tuesday, and then AR Wednesday. So we're kind of inverted here. Okay. Did everybody, if how many people are new to Top Gun Options? So right now you're in a regularly scheduled member brief. We have hundreds. How many members do we have here? Here you go, right here. Over you see this right here. Seven. This is our one of our member areas. 713 members. How many of you are new? Let us know that you're new and where you're. John, welcome aboard. where you're new from. So I like seeing this. We got people in Australia, China, the UK, our 51st state in Canada, Wisconsin. Awesome. Let us know where you're tuning in from if you're new. And then down here, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you read the emails and everything like that, and you watched the welcome aboard brief. So I don't have to waste a ton of time this morning getting you up to speed with who I am, what we do here at Top Gun Options. So I shot this. This is evergreen, right? You can watch this at any time to get an idea of who I am and what we do. If you didn't watch that, watch it afterwards. Obviously, hang out right now for the live trading because we got work to do. Houston, Texas. Welcome aboard, Chuck. Love me some Houston. Love the great Republic of Texas, man. I went to flight school, Kingsville, Texas, outside of Corpus Christi. Then I flew fighters out of Naval Air Station Fort Worth. Absolutely love the Lone Star State. Make sure when you're on our YouTube channel, like I'm simulcasting right now. I put all of our free content up here on our YouTube channel. So everybody, please click subscribe right now so you can get access to this stuff. Okay. All the live stuff that's free is on here, and obviously my situation reports. Quick reminder, more administrative items. This is the replay page. Wiz, I can't make it tomorrow. I can't make it Wednesday. This is where the replays are going to be posted. These are all the replays from the last time we talked about Full Throttle. So obviously these aren't the current ones from because I'm in one right now. So this is where the replays will be. The replay from today will be up here at the top. Okay. So that is the replay page where everything's going to be. What's up, Kevin? Welcome back from Vegas. We'll talk about what the market needs right now. People are piling in. This is a FOMO rally, man. Or Tina, there is no alternative. All right, so that's the welcome aboard video. Hopefully you already watched it. Quick review, you guys can call me Wiz. I'm Matthew to my wife or my mom if I'm in trouble. Everybody else calls me Wiz. By the way, it is my beautiful bride's 29th birthday, Susie's birthday. So if you're a current member, shoot her an email and wish her a happy birthday. Flew F-18s in the Navy, taught myself how to trade, went to Top Gun, graduated as an adversary pilot, deployed on one of the boats that's over there right now, the Lincoln and the Kitty Hawk. Operation Southern Watch, Noble Eagle, Enduring Freedom, all that type of stuff. And then went to Wall Street. Folks, this is the first time since Austin, Texas. Mortimer, I love it. This is the first time since Trump was going to bomb North Korea into the Stone Ages, that we've had 3 carrier strike groups in the same area. Lincoln, Ford, and Bush. This is, there's peace talks going on, but that's a lot of iron, United States iron in one area. Like I said, went to Wall Street, managing director of strategy for a multi-billion-dollar volatility arbitrage firm. Why? Because I had a brief airline career. The morning of September 11th was my first and essentially last day at work. I'm like, you know what? Done with the airlines. I would have been miserable. Thank God 9/11 happened, obviously, but everything happens for a reason, man. I would have been miserable flying pressurized aluminum for 8 hours a day. Okay, before we get live and go in the market and start looking at stuff, real quick review of our methodology here at Top Gun Options. It's not rocket surgery, SOT. This is how we're going to do our live trade brief today, tomorrow, and the next day. This is our flow, SOT. I'm going to knock out a quick strategic brief in a couple minutes. What's going on around the world? You have to know what's going on around the world. If you came into this brief like, how do I get long NVIDIA right now? You should leave right now because you're going to be miserable at Top Gun Options. We don't start trading. That's all the way at the bottom, man. That's tactical. What's going on around the globe? Man, there's a war going on right now. There's a lot of wars going on right now. We're going on year 5 of a meat grinder in Eastern Europe. I don't even want to talk about it. All these people who all of a sudden, oh my God, I hear the Pentagon, and we're running out of weapons because of what Trump's doing with Iran. Oh, you didn't have a problem with 4 years of funneling weapons to Eastern Europe, but after a month and a half of combat operations in Iran, now you're clutching your pearls. Anyway, S, what's going on around the globe? O, then we peel back the onion and go one layer deep. What's going on here in the United States? What's going on with the Fed? It looks like the DOJ dropped their investigation into Jerome Powell. So Senator Toole, is going to drop his opposition to Kevin Warsh. Did you watch the nomination hearing last week of Kevin Warsh? Pure theater. Operational level, Fed, interest rates, inflation, earnings. Amazon reports Wednesday after market close, the Death Star. It's up here at 260. So then and only then, after we look at the operational stuff going on, can we get tactical and trade? Does that make sense? It's not rocket surgery. S, all this stuff, economic, military, market conditions, commodities, what's going on with commodities. Do you know that I think we're on 6 days right now, 6 days left. Do you know that if Iran doesn't start moving their oil in 6 days, they have to spike the wells? It will be $1 billion of damage. Folks, do you understand this? Go watch There Will Be Blood or Landman. So they're on the clock is ticking with Iran right now. Things are going to explode literally in Iran. So we got to talk about all of that stuff. One layer deep, Fed, interest rates, earnings, domestic economic data, what's going on politically. Why do you care about politics, Wiz? If I didn't trade my politics, I'd be broke, right? These people, we made one trade, it was like 6 grand or something like that. The day President Trump said, I'm going to kill millions of Iranians tonight. And then people were like, oh my God, we got bullish. We did a bullish double vertical on the S&P 500. Why? Because I knew that wasn't going to happen. The next day, didn't happen, and the market ripped, and we made a shit pot of money. Other people were like, oh, if you, whatever, I'm not even going to, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, right? They call it taco. Trump always chickens out. Call it whatever you want. We're printing money off the guy. And then step 3, we finally get tactical and trade in our live trade briefs. Does everybody have a copy, the most current copy of the trade plan? You should have gotten it when you opted in. Does everybody have this? Top Gun Options trade plan. This is our 7-step trade plan. You can't trade without a plan, son. So this is our sample play trade plan. Does everybody have it? I can upload it right now to the chat if you don't. This is a sweet piece of gear, folks. This was, I used this type of methodology over the skies of Iraq and on Wall Street, man. So this is a Gucci piece of gear. TGO Trade Plan 2026. I just uploaded it, Chuck, to the chat right there. So everybody take a look at that. You should see it in the chat box right now. So 7-step trade plan. When we get to trading and 20 minutes or whenever we get to it, we're going to step through this methodology. Okay, so I just gave it to you. Everybody should have it. Real quick, if you don't know this, I'm going to rip through this real quick. It's so funny talking to people who just trade stocks. And if they give me 5 minutes and I explain to them what an option is and how you're a complete chump if you ever buy another share of stock in your life, it makes no sense. The leverage you get with options, the limited risk you get with options, it's just insane. Well, Wiz, I like dividends. Great, man. Well, okay, if you like dividends, you can buy that stock, but sell covered calls against it to make even more than just with a dividend, right? And we love volatility. Like big swings in the market hurt stock traders. We love it. It's a target rich environment. And like I said, it's so funny because people are like, I hear options are dangerous. You know why you hear that? Is because when they came out with options in the early 70s, right? Typical bunch of white dudes on Wall Street with their cigars in the back room going, man, it would be great if we didn't have to come out of pocket a lot of money to buy stock. Somebody's like, why don't we come up with an option contract? We have the right to buy the stock at some point in the future at a certain price. Brilliant. There's no way those dudes with their cigars in the back room could have projected, 50, no, not 50, 30, 25, yeah, close enough years into the future. Wait, I'm 57. Yeah, 50 years into the future, that there'd be, first of all, be an internet, there'd be retail brokers, that the unwashed masses would be allowed to be in here doing all this stuff. So it's so funny. That's initially what it was. There was like this pushback, like, whoa, 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 whoa. You need to call your broker on the phone, and it's $250 per, transaction fee. Those days are over with, folks. So options are just, they make stocks look completely stupid. Today, we're going to talk about profiting with purpose. We're going to talk, like I said, I'm making it audible and switching the days around. We're going to talk about the psychedelic sector today, because it's literally exploding. I took these screenshots last week from current Top Gun Options members, right? And it's funny because when I talk about the sector, in a couple minutes, every once in a while somebody throws a little bit of a spear, like talking about profiting on the psychedelic sector, just it's gross or seems weird. You ever get a job from a poor person? We're going to talk about profiting with purpose, man. Making money's great, right? Yay, making money. You're not a pharaoh, right? They're not putting all your money in your casket or your tomb to take with you across the river. So how about we profit and help potentially save and change the lives of our fellow Americans or humans? Wow, exactly. So it always cracks me up. I get a little poke every once in a while, like, "Where's your, you do this and you talked about profiting off it." Hey man, why wouldn't we? And we'll talk about that in a little bit, because some of our most of you know me and the nonprofit we run and stuff like that, like Mo and some other TGO members, man, they throw, hey man, I just made $2,000 on a sniper shot, Wiz. I'm going to throw half over the fence to No Fallen Heroes or Sacred Warrior Fellowship to help fund healing great grants. So you can profit with purpose, folks. That's what we're gonna do here. Okay, so what do you need to trade successfully? A lot of new folks in here. I saw the numbers this morning. It was 420. Elon Musk number, right? 420 people registered. And then when I started, it was 427. And I'm shutting the registrations down at 500. No offense, I don't like a zoo. I don't like 90,000 people in here and asking every sorts of questions. Nice tight knit group. But you need training, right? I didn't say education. The world is full of educated derelicts, right? My financial education is from here. Next, I don't want to talk to you. Training. Training gives you a skill. Options Weapons School, 9 sessions, are going to teach you how to trade options from. This is the stock market, and these are options all the way down to session 9, right? Building block approach, just like when I went to Pensacola Naval Air Station. This is an airplane. These are wings. This is airflow. That's an engine. That's a cloud. Building block approach to now you're landing aboard the aircraft carrier. Okay. After you're trained, right? Fighter pilots are trained, doctors are trained, plumbers are trained. Training gives you a skill. You need a plan. I just gave you a trade plan that has a strategy. What's your strategy? That's 100,000-foot level. Tactics support that strategy. Today, when we start trading, you're going to learn about managing risk. You ready for this blinding piece of brilliance? You can't make money if you're losing money. Now, that might sound completely master of the obvious, but a lot of folks don't think that way. How much can I make in this trade, Wiz? Wrong. How much can you lose in this trade? And if you ain't okay with that, don't ever look at how much you can potentially make. How much can I lose? We're going to talk about managing risk. If you got some good training and you got a tight trade plan, then what do you do with it? This is why I built Top Gun Options and our live trade briefs. You need to go practically apply it. You need to go to the simulator building before you get airborne in your fighter jet or your airliner, man. You need to practically apply the training and the plan live, and you're sitting in it, a live trade brief, okay? I guarantee you this is what you need to trade successfully. If I had Top Gun Options when folks, before Al Gore invented the internet, I was going to the base library to get like a book on options, man. So if I had Top Gun Options when I started, Elon Musk would be working for me. I mean, it just It's absolutely insane. So, all right. So, Options Weapon School, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, 9 sessions. It's included when you do full throttle, and we'll talk about that. But like I said, building block approach. This is where Wiz gathers his intel, the basics of investing, and I go through the trade plan. Not until session 2 do I even start talking about what an option is, man. So, what did I tell you? Building block approach to investing and trading options. Okay. Um, and so let me get airborne, but I want to show you this because this is all the marketing I'm going to do, so to speak. Why? Because this sells itself. 85% of Top Gun Options members do an annual membership into Full Throttle. It's $29.95 a year. If after I get done, you want to kind of keep kicking the tires, $295 a month is the way to go. What's $497? I'm going to talk here in a little bit when I fire my first trade about the hunters. This is an investment club. So if you want to kick the tires and have access to one of our elite investment clubs, it's $497 a month to kind of try it out for a little bit. But as you can see, that's the way to go. This is essentially a 50% discount off of the monthly hunters. So this is the ultimate trial tire kicker. Okay, $295. You do not get access to the hunters in the $295 a month. Okay, that's why most everybody's right there in the middle. Any questions before I get airborne? Again, I'm gonna treat you like this is an open house, man. You're a current Top Gun Options member, and we're starting a live trade brief. I wanted to go 20 minutes, and that went 21, so I'm pretty close right now. All right, here we go. SOT, Strategic Operational Tactical. Iran offers new proposal to reopen the strait. And Trump's like, give me a call. I mean, they have these things called telephones. Give me a call. So, like I talked about, if they don't start moving their oil, they got to spike. The wells are going to spike. There you go. Iranian oil infrastructure in peril from limited capacity. The lines explode, man, from within, both mechanically and in the earth. So, and you can't rebuild these things the way it was. They are in a critical time frame here. Do you know that they're losing $500 million a day? $500 million a day Iran's losing. That's how you hit somebody. You know, bombs and bullets and all that stuff will get people's attention. You know what really gets people's attention? The wallet, right? So, and that's why you're seeing this. The president's lying and the president's telling the truth. Iran's lying and Iran's telling the truth. What do I mean? I guarantee you President Trump is talking to people who what? Who don't want to die. They're talking to most likely diplomat, the president dude and the foreign minister guy. They love life. They love their cushy life. So they probably want a deal. You know who doesn't want a deal? The IRGC. Why? Because they're either going to die from Trump or Israel or their own people. They're going to get Mussolini in the town square. If they truly fall, the Iranian people, oh, wait, weren't you one of the guys that ordered 30,000 of us dead, murdered a couple months ago? Yeah, you're next. So the IRGC has every incentive to fight to the end and to the death. So that's why I say they're both lying and they're both telling the truth. It's kind of ugly right now. When you take out the first, second, and tertiary lines of leadership, it gets confusing, right? This is gonna be written about in history books. Like, hey, next time you decapitate like 3 levels of government, have a plan in place to figure out who you're going to be talking to next, right? But ladies and gentlemen, the market is forward looking. No peace plan, no problem. Why the wartime market keeps rising. Look at this rip your face off rally, folks. We did, put on a bullish on America trade right here. We did. What's a bullish on America trade? I think that's tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, our TGO members who have put on bullish on America trades on the S&P 500 are printing money. The market, ladies and gentlemen, is never, well, first of all, the market, you can't trade off the left side of a chart. Is there anybody in this brief right now that can trade off the left side of a chart? Don't even say yes, I can, because you're an idiot. It's physically impossible to trade off the left side of a chart. Where do we make money? We make money where? In the white. We have to project our thoughts forward in space and time so we can place trades today that make money in the future. So the market right now, ladies and gentlemen, is not present. It's living where? It's already Epic Fury's over with. Yeah, it isn't. You're not listening to me. It's already looking to the next thing. The market has ADD or OCD or whatever it's called. They can't focus on the present. If anything, this, ladies and gentlemen, it's already priced in that the war is over with. So we had this rip your face off rally and a hover. What did I tell you last? Well, you weren't here last week if you're free. I said, we're going to have this rip your face off rally and we're going to hover this week. And then it's decision time. I'm so glad I'm doing a full throttle this week because why? The market's got we're not going to keep hovering up here. It's got two choices. We're either going to rip or we're going to head back down to this 20-day moving average. It's a binary move this week, ladies and gentlemen, and all eyes are on what? Tech. Like I said, the Death Star, the one I care about the most. Did you see NVIDIA last week? We'll talk about that. NVIDIA finally ripping out of its, let's go pull that up. Last week, NVIDIA finally broke out of its, 200 here. Now it's essentially at all-time highs. So ladies and gentlemen, we're kind of done with Operation Epic Fury, unless it gets worse, right? Breaking news, bombs flying again, that'll be an excuse to pull back and take some profits here. But very rarely does the market move like this. And for all the panicins, folks, let me pull up a chart here. You know when we did, oh my God, it's the anniversary. Current TGO members, why do I remember this? Because last April 27th, my last beautiful bride's birthday, we put on a bullish on America trade here. I closed mine up here for like 15 grand or whatever it was in profit before Epic Fury happened. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. The Trump tariffs right here. Remember this? Liberation Day. I'm sick of being screwed by the world. Screwed. I'm tariffing everybody, including our friends. The market freaked the hell out. Look at Epic Fury. I told TGO members, I'm like, this is orderly. It might feel violent to you. This is orderly selling and a rip. Folks, this wasn't orderly. This was a lot of uncertainty. What am I getting at here, folks? If you bought the bottom, if you always buy the bottom. Let me give you some bro to bro and sister advice. Always I keep 50 at a minimum 25% cash. Why? So you can come in when everybody else is panicking and running out of the doors. This is Warren Buffett, man, and do bullish on America trades on the S&P 500. If you bought the bottom in every one of these things, you're printing money right now. And we'll talk about a bullish on America trade, man. These things are just, for a small investment today, you can make six figures years into the future. And you don't have to hold the trade the entire time. All right, let's cruise. This is interesting, though, because a lot of people, the market, look at this. The market's at all-time highs. Where's consumer sentiment? All-time lows. There is a big disconnect between the market and the economy, which leads me to one of my wizisms. The stock market is not the economy, folks. It never is. As a matter of fact, since 2008, when I was in the board of trade for the global financial crisis in the Chicago Board Options Exchange, I ran to the VIX pit when it hit 90, whatever. Why 2008? Because that's when the Fed jumped in to save capitalism. If you need to jump in to save capitalism, it's not capitalism. But my point being is this: the worse things get in the economy, the better the stock market will do. What? You heard me. Because everybody gets a trophy now. Here comes the Fed printing money out of thin air. Here comes the Treasury. And ladies and gentlemen, it's awful. I don't agree with it. It's un-American. We should not have bailed out Wall Street in 2008. I walked through the crowds to get into the Board of Trade, the people protesting. I actually agree with them today. Right? So, um, that's exactly right. All right. So, and why else? I mean, look at this. Here's what's funny is look at retail sales. They're going through the roof. Consumer sentiment is imploding. Huh. Now we can talk about gas and all sorts of stuff like that, but people are still buying and doing stuff, but they're doing it on credit, man. People are living on their credit cards and stuff like that. So it's an interesting environment right now. Another reason the S&P 500 is ripping higher. Why? The S&P 500 is buying itself. What are you talking about? The number one buyer of the S&P 500 right now is who? The S&P 500. It's called buybacks. If you're a CEO and you negotiated a great compensation deal and you're going to get paid a bonus at the end of the year based on how the share price is doing, what do you do with a lot of your money? You buy back your own shares. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a record high of companies buying back their own shares. We are at a historic high. Where's the S&P 500 have to go? Up. Love or hate President Trump. If you hate anybody, you got problems. If you hate President Trump, man, take a microdose, meditate, and go for a walk. And I want to remind you that God loves the person you hate the most on this planet the same as he loves you. When you realize that, your life gets a lot better. But ladies and gentlemen, the Trump savings accounts, these are accounts that buy what? The S&P 500. So when people look at this rally and go, well, it's stupid, it's whatever, I go, be present. If you could, let me do this. There. Today's your first day. Don't stop looking at the left side of a chart. And I'll give you another wisdom right now. The market can remain irrational longer than you can stay solvent. The, the trend is your friend. If you try and step in front of the train, man, God bless you. I'll see you on the other side. The AI frenzy is back and lifting the entire stock market to record highs. Signs of froth are everywhere with the IPOs of Anthropic and OpenAI expected to be the biggest ever. And investors are desperate to find a way in. But folks, I get it. Where's my famous chart, folks? Markets don't move in a straight line, right? Where is my full throttle slides? Nope, not that one. Yes, that one. Hold on. So and I'm going to age myself, 1991, I showed up at Naval Air Station, Kingsville, Texas. Naval Air Station, Key West, I'm sorry, and made my first investment, the USAA Aggressive Growth Mutual Fund, like $25 or $50. It was a lot of money for me then. Look at the S&P 500 this century. Anybody see a trend? There's the dot-com boom. There's the recovery. There's Wiz in Chicago. Oh my God, we're all going to die. And then we never looked. Look at this. After the Fed, Ben Bernanke jumped in right here to save capitalism. We never looked back. Do you understand this? There's the scandemic right there. There's Joe Biden's bear market. 25% implosion in the S&P 500. Okay? So, folks, do you see a trend here? You can bet against America and you're going to be wrong. I'm going to show you this. I took this screenshot this time last year during the tariff meltdown, right? All these people, the media and Democrats the stocks are melting down. 1991, bottom left, Wiz at Naval Air Station, Key West. .com boom, global financial crisis, we've never looked back. Okay? So again, you can sit here all you want and kick and scream and moan that where we shouldn't be up here. We are. Price is price. We are where we are. There is signs of froth. Trust me, I can feel when we're overbought, but I'll wait for the turn instead of stepping in front of it. Everybody understand that? Okay? The cracks are showing though. The AI splurge, this is going to be Wednesday. I'm just giving a quick SOT brief. The AI splurge is costing big tech its workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, Meta, they announced like 20% of their workforce they were laying off like 3, 4, 5 months ago. Now that another 10%. Folks, these aren't house cleaners. These aren't busboys. These aren't bartenders. White collar jobs are getting destroyed. These are 300 a year limousine liberal jobs in California that are gone. And you can't go, well, I just got laid off from my tech engineer, whatever role at Meta. I'll go do it at Apple. They're doing the same thing. UPS, FedEx. I always laugh. I told my solo AI people, um, Tom Hanks in Castaway. Remember, he was like a booger eater. He was a system engineer at FedEx, crunching numbers. You're fired. FedEx and UPS got rid of like 30,000 like white collar mid-level employees because of AI. Look at an Amazon warehouse. Amazon told us 6 months ago they want to get rid of 500,000 employees in the next couple of years. You go look at an Amazon fulfillment center and open the door. First of all, it's pitch black. Why? Robots don't need light, man. They're zipping around. We're in trouble. So AI is not only going to take just about everybody's job, it's going to kill all of us. Let me laugh real quick. I need to move this over to, well, the market froth. You see the date, April 14th? Why two Wall Street titans just turned bullish on stocks. Oh, wow. How brave of BlackRock and whoever else it was to turn bullish here. Here's where the bravery was with our bullish on America trade. So I love when the smart money shows up after the party and says, there's a party. We already laughed about this. We're about to get tactical, but the taco trade, right? I love people making fun of this. And you can call them taco all you want, or you can spend the $20 and go read The Art of the Deal. It's comical to me that people still don't get this dude. I'm going to kill millions of Iranians tonight. He isn't bullish trade. Oh my God, he is. I'm going to get bearish. Okay, 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 awesome. So, or you go read The Art of the Deal and you recognize that the guy goes, step one in negotiating, come in insane, come in crazy. And then when they're like, what? And move over a little bit or a lot, you come off yours a little bit so you look less insane and they feel like they won. What are you new? Whatever, man. I just keep trading your politics if you can't stand the guy. You'll be out of business. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I've moved the flight schedule around. We're about to get tactical right now, and we're going to cover the most explosive sector ever in the history of ever explosives. Hasn't started yet. So, last Saturday, not the past Saturday. So Friday night, man, last Friday night, 2 Fridays ago, I was sitting on my couch, 5 o'clock. Long week, man, of trading, and I had just gotten back. You ready from this? This is the power of God and the power of like life. So 3 Saturdays ago, I was at Harvard Divinity School. That's the famous chapel where Ralph Waldo Emerson gave his divinity school address. He came in and he was banned for 30 years after giving that address. So I'm at Harvard Divinity School at a conference on religion and psychedelics. It was a very surreal moment. There's no way in hell 6 years ago you'd have told me I would have been at Harvard Divinity School with a conference on psychedelics. So I was tired, man. It was a long week, sitting on the couch. Phone rings. White House. I'm like, what spam, what dude in India got that number? I mean, how do you do that? I'm like, I better answer that because this is going to be funny. It was the fucking White House. Mr. Buckley, the president, are you in DC? I'm like, I'm in Boca. What's up? Boca Raton. Well, the signing, the president's signing the executive order on psychedelics tomorrow morning, and would love for you to be there. I'm like, I'll start walking. I'm going to get in my car right now and I'll be there. I'll drive. Oh, okay. Are you kidding me? If you don't know anything about this, folks, this has been a 5-year battle for me. Saved and changed my life. Thank God for JetBlue. I jumped on an 8 o'clock flight, got up there at 11:30, hotel, barely slept, and there I was in the Oval Office with the president, Joe Rogan, Dr. Oz, RFK Jr., the head of the NIH, my CO brothers, Marcus and Morgan Luttrell. It was a incredibly surreal moment. Now, for if you're new to Top Gun Options, you might not have even known about this sector. And last month, I think one of the reasons I got there is last month I flew Eric Trump in the No Fallen Heroes Foundation fighter jet. So he was my hostage for a couple hours. I briefed him on the what we're doing with the foundation, No Fallen Heroes Foundation. He could not have been more supportive. He's like, man, I talk to my dad 3 times a day. I'm going to call him after we land. I'm going to tell him. I'm like, if you can tell your father, he ain't big on Mexico, right? Does your dad know that veterans are sneaking into Mexico, not the other way around? We have Americans sneaking into Mexico to go heal the trauma that they incurred serving this one. He's like, oh, that's a good one. That's a good sentence. So I don't know if this is if that if, first of all, he doesn't strike me as a guy who doesn't do what he says he's going to do. So maybe that had something to do with it, because I did text him. I'm like, last Wednesday or that Wednesday, there was a breaking news report that the president was going to issue an executive order on psychedelics, and I texted him like, hey, any chance I could be there? After the ceremony, he texted me like, hey, you got to be a proud moment for you. So I don't know if he did it or whatever. Anyway, folks, these names are exploding, right? And I can't stand this headline. I can't. And again, the people, I got this wrong. I thought Democrats were there, man. You're hippies. You wear mala beads and your drug rugs and, peace. You Democrats, psychedelics, wrong. Democrats, big pharma. They're like twisting themselves in the pretzels, hating this. Oh, Joe Rogan, now the president, Joe Rogan's giving medical advice. He's dictating drug policy in this country. Oh my God. Joe Rogan's a liberal. He voted for Bernie Sanders. Did you see the president? Joe Rogan behind him. He's like, yeah, Joe Rogan, way too little too liberal for me. I'm like, everybody relax with the fucking politics. Joe Rogan simply shined a spotlight on what we veterans have been doing for years. Ladies and gentlemen, I went to Mexico and I was on my back with this guy, Marcus Luttrell. We came home. His brother Morgan's like, the hell did you guys do? We did this. He went to Mexico. There's Rob O'Neill. There's Marcus Capone. So Joe Rogan, ladies and gentlemen, having these guys on your podcast is not Joe Rogan dictating drug policy in this country. It's just so stupid. Thank you, Joe Rogan, for putting the spotlight on this. He's never even sat with ibogaine, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, now and this week, the Senate is holding a hearing for psychedelic research and treatment for veterans. So we're getting there. Psychedelic alpha, or last week, the FDA came out and Marty Makary, the FDA commissioner, if you remember under Joe Biden, the FDA did what? Rejected MDMA therapy for veterans. Wait, I thought Democrats and Joe Biden would love like psychedelics and helping veterans. No, they said no. This FDA commissioner has said psychedelic assisted therapy is a priority for this administration. In the Oval Office, he said, we have 3 applications on my desk that I will sign Monday. So I think Wednesday the news broke that 3 companies got priority vouchers. One of them is a name. I mean, some of these are privately held. Compass. So ladies and gentlemen, and Rolling Stone, how ibogaine became the darling of the psychedelic right. Texas is leading the charge to turn an African psychedelic into a life-saving drug, but will a bogus historic stewards get a cut? And of course, here we go with these people would find fly shit in a sugar. So that's the sector I want to talk about right now. And let's get tactical. We're right on time. Does everybody have their TGO psychedelic biotech brief? Four names. We're gonna based on how much time today. Does everybody have a current copy of this? This is I just updated this yesterday. Um, Compass, Definium, Atai, and Help. Everybody have this. I can give it to you right now if you don't. I'll do it anyway. Let me upload it just in case you don't have it. This piece of gear is about $5,000. How do I know that? Because I helped start a hedge fund in Chicago, and this would go to our clients, or this is a product of GSAM, Global Sachs Asset Management. This piece of gear and this investment intel is about 5 grand when I was in Chicago. It's probably more than that now. I'm using years ago math. You're welcome. So the last page, I guess I should move up to the front. This is the targeting order. I would buy these. I'd sell the wife and kids, mortgage the house to buy Compass, Definium, Atai. I'd hang out with Help, but well, no, I would buy it since it's at the bottom. This, and we're going to step through these right now and how you can use options to get bullish on these names. Definium, DFTX, had an investor conference last week. Did everybody get my notes on the investor conference? Great investor conference. Where is it? Let me go to my trade desk here. Where is it? It's in Top Gun options. Where is it? I think it, or no, it was that one. It was, there we go. Last Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it was. Definium deserves attention not because it is fashionable, but because it is finally reaching the point where fashion matters less than proof. So, 3 shots on goal with Emerge. They have pivotal phase 3 readouts coming up. The one is called Emerge for MDD, major depressive disorder, right? Here's their drug. I hate the word drug. It's a medicine, DT120. Obviously, the executive order. They're well funded. They have a ton of cash. They just raised more equity, 259 million. They have $500 million in the banks, folks. So this is Definium has delivered a 293% return over the past year. Don't worry about it. You didn't miss it. Analyst consensus, 37 bucks, a 50% upside from here in a year. Okay? Binary event, folks. Phase 3 readouts. I know I'm hearing from a lot of people that would know they're going to be great, but risk. Phase 3 readout. Everybody died. It was awful. I can't believe it. Unbelievable failure. The stock will implode. So there are risks in everything. So that Definium had an investor day last week, but let's step through these in the order I like them. Let's go Compass first. CMPS. Compass. Let's go. Okay, what's going on here, folks? No data available. What is going on with E-Trade? We're going to get a chart. Anybody having problems with E-Trade? All right. Let me close and reopen my brokerage account. E-Trade. Yeah, everybody read that psychedelic report when you get a chance. It is worth its weight in gold. TGO primary. All right, 2-0. Let's try one more time. I helped build a retail brokerage in Chicago. It's called Options House. This would be infuriating to me. Let's try one more time. All right. Brokerage 8465. See if we can get a chart. Yay, thank you. All right, that's SPX. Let's go Compass. So look at that, man. There's your gap up, and we're in a good hover right now, right? So you could have gotten this stock weeks ago when I told you to buy it at $5. It got as high as 10. Do the math. It was up 50%, ladies and gentlemen, last Monday after the executive order signing. You didn't miss it. So don't look at the chart and be like, oh, again, ignore the left side of the chart. Be present for today. So, a couple things, ladies and gentlemen. I usually don't trade options on stocks under $10. Why? It's an option. The price of the stock is the option premium. It's an option in and of itself. But when I'm trading, I actually officially moved these out of lottery ticket stocks last week. But let's stick with the options here. Let's start with chumps. Who's a chump? If you wanted to buy, 100 shares of Compass right now, you need about $1,000. Or if I want to buy 1,000 shares, you need about 10 grand. Let's trade the options. Okay, so we can hop into our time machine and fly out to January of 2028. Okay, look at this. These are what's called, so an option, real quick, option contract has a date, a price, right? That it's like any other contract. We can go get bullish all the way out until January of 2028 to give this. Did you see? Let's go back. I'm pretty sure these guys, Compass is going to file for an NDA, new drug application, folks, in the next quarter or the fourth quarter. Okay. So, ladies, yeah, Comp 360, new drug application. This stock is going to rip. Should, but so we can go all the way out to Jan of 28. Okay. The stock's at about $10. So we could do a couple things here. And I already have an existing position in this name. You could do a couple things. Let's talk about synthetic stock. Or you know what? Let's do synthetic stock. I'm going to go, I'm going to split this up. Let's do Definium synthetic stock. Okay. Definium, DFTX, it used to be called MindMed. Look at this gentle climb schedule. So this stock started ripping. There's the executive order signing and a little bit of a pullback, but man, what a rip. Let's talk Definium first, then I'll do Compass, okay? So Definium, same thing. We're going to hop in our time machine and go out to Jan of 2028. You can see my existing position right here. So I actually put this on last week so you can get the same exact position that I have. If you wanted to buy 100 shares of Definium right now, you'd need $2,200. Remember that, $2,200. How about we go out to Jan of 2028 and we can buy one option contract. One option contract controls 100 shares of stock. Again, why would you spend $2,300 when you could spend, look at this, 1,000? I just saved you $1,300. I'm not done yet. Buying one Jan of 2028 22 called, it's what we call an at the money call. That's what the stock price is at. When you buy a call, you're bullish. I'm buying this call option contract because I think Definium's going up. Now, somebody is on the other side of that trade. They are selling me that call. They're bearish. Wiz, you're an idiot. Definium's going to implode. They sell me that. Buying it bullish, selling it bearish. Now, let's go to the other side of the equation. How many of you have heard the word put, right? You've probably heard somebody at a cocktail party like, I think the market's going to implode. I'm going to buy some puts. So you can buy insurance. It's called a put. So buying a put, you're bearish. You think something's going to go down. Somebody has to sell you that put. They are bullish. They are the insurance company. I'll take in some premium because I don't think looking at all this stuff, you're going to crash your car. It's highly unlikely. So a put seller is bullish. So why don't we sell in at the money put. We could sell the 22 put. So, ladies and gentlemen, buying 100 shares of Definium was $2,300. Using the options, it's 210 bucks. I just saved you over $2,000. There's your annual membership into Full Throttle. I just saved you. Why would you buy 100 shares of Definium today? It makes 0 sense. So, would you rather spend 2,300 or 210? I know the answer, but I'm not done yet, right? So, and I'll show you what. Let's look at the risk though. Well, Wiz, look at the max potential loss. I'm potentially risking 2,300 bucks. What are you risking if you buy 100 shares? 20. Oh, I guess the stock could go to 0 precisely. So on your screen right now, ladies and gentlemen, is a tactic we call synthetic stock. You are synthetically long the stock, but you don't own it, which is brilliant. You don't get two things when you use options. And to do synthetic stock, you don't get a dividend. Definium doesn't have a dividend, and you don't get to vote as a shareholder. Your 100 shares of Definium ain't going to do anything, folks. You can throw that ballot in the recycling bin. So the two things you don't get with synthetic stock, you don't care about anyway, right? But I'm an options trader. I'm a fighter pilot. I want to minimize my risk. What's a disaster? How many times have you seen, like, last or under Joe Biden, the 25% down market in the S&P 500? What did they call it? A bear market. When something goes down 20%, the industry calls it, a bear market. The stock is in a bear market, it's down at least 20%. So how about that's a disaster for us? How about we buy what I call a disaster put, 20% underneath the name? What's that, about 18 bucks? So ladies and gentlemen, we could buy a disaster put underneath the stock to give us some protection. Now, the cost of the trade went up a little bit because I'm buying some insurance, but look at what I did. I reduced the risks from 2,300 bucks to 1,100. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen right now is synthetic stock with a protective put. Again, why would you buy 100 shares when you could do this? Now, I'm not done, and this is a little bit more of an advanced tactic, but let's pull the chart up in the background. I could sell what is called a front month. What's the front month? April, May. I could sell a call against this position out to the May expiration. Let's look at the calendar. Let's go to May. 1, 2, 3. The third Friday of every month is when regular options expire, right? These 3 legs expire years into the future. This leg of the trade would expire May 15th. Whenever you see a month and a year, that means the third Friday of the month. And don't worry if you're sitting here going, man, I don't get that. That's what Options Weapons School is for. I'm going to teach you all of this stuff. Do you understand me? Okay. So let's go out to May. It would be great to get back up to 25. I don't think it's going to. I mean, it could. We could rip. Let's go down to like the May 24. Okay. So look at what I did. I'm bringing what's in between these two numbers. I don't know, $1.10. I just lowered the cost basis of this trade even more. So folks, I could make monthly payments against this name. Does everybody understand that? Brent, look at what Brent just said. Yep, so sorry. Everybody look at Brent's return in the chat box. I need to sell that call. Yep, good catch. The ladies and gentlemen, and don't forget, it's great, Stephen. Right here, I didn't click it yet, but it says what? Earnings, May 15th. This is when those calls expire, so I would not hold those calls through earnings. right? They expire that day. Okay. So does it say before or after market close? Let's go look. So, well, this says right here, estimated. So that is something we have to keep an eye on. Okay. So, folks, here's what I want to do real quick. I'm going to show you our what we do in a regular live trade brief. I'm going to take a screenshot of this trade. And if you're in here, you can take a screenshot of this. You can use your snipping tool, the Windows, you know, key and print screen. You can take screenshots of this on your own, folks, right? I mean, you can take your own screenshot of this, or you're going to watch me blast this trade out to Top Gun Options members. Like I said, about 85% of our members work, um, and they're about to get an alert on their phone, right? We have an app where you can be sitting Monday morning in death by meeting and be like, oh man, I'm really bored. And your phone's going to buzz. I got E-Trade on my phone. I got my member area on my phone. I was up and we were skiing. I can be in the cockpit of my fighter jet trading and sending out trade alerts. So right here, this is in the Hunters, that investment club I told you about. So new DFTX synthetic stock, Jan 28. I hit at everyone, so all the members are going to get this alert. I'm going to add the image of the two screenshots that I just took. So I'm going to click screenshots. It's right there. There's the one screenshot. And we'll talk about Compass real quick. We're going to do a different tactic with Compass. So this is synthetic stock. Let me publish this. So right now, just boom, there we go. That was a quick one. Got a buzz on my phone. I just got this alert. Comes on your phone, email, boom. Text alerts are so, Mike got his. Text alerts are so 2015. Now it's all app alerts, baby. Okay. And you can see I'm also posting intelligence in here. Other people are posting their trades. There's our trades from last week. Boom. This is how we do it. Look at that. There's a different Brent. Look at that. Another Brent checking in with Definium. Added the first synthetic stock you mentioned and had shares in another account. Holy crap, man. Look at this. 6,009% return. I didn't ask for these case studies, folks. These people are, look at this. If you're not reading it, look at that. Holy shnikes. Wow. He's the better Brent. Brent said he's the better Brent. I love it. That is fantastic. That makes my heart smile. What a great thing. All right. For the sake of time, we're going to get back to Compass. I'm doing a different tactic on Compass. So Compass, ladies and gentlemen, is going to have an NDA, a new drug application for Comp 360. It's in your report. All the intel's in here, folks. Where is it? I'm going to, again, this is why I limit full throttle free people, because these are great questions coming through, but I got to cover Compass. I'll try and clean this up at the end. So here it is, folks. Look at this. Comp 360 achieved the primary endpoint in both phase 3 trials. Osmind, executive order. Folks, this is, well, I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but because you can read it. This is why I came out with the report. But look at this. Here are my 12-month price targets for Compass. 12 and 24-month target, I think $55, maybe even 60. It's a $10 stock, ladies and gentlemen. Does everybody understand this? Oh, sorry about that. So there it is right there. Sorry about that. It's right there. All the stuff for Compass. Look at this. The breaking news. April 25th, the FDA granted a rolling new drug application review. What does that mean? Folks, it has breakthrough therapy status and a rolling review. What does that mean? I had buddies, well, Wiz, the FDA just called us. I'm like, oh, that's not good. No, they're like, speed it up. Where's your application? You see this inbox with nothing in it? You put it in this one, not the one with the big stack. Do you guys understand? I don't want to hear from you a year from now, like, man, I should have listened to you. Folks, a rolling the NPV, the National Priority Voucher Program. The commissioner, the FDA commissioner, I was in the Oval Office with Marty, short dude, so is Joe Rogan. He said, I have three names in my inbox, so I'm going to act on Monday, Mr. President. Doesn't this show you that we can do things in this country when we want to? 22, I think it's 44, veterans a day are killing themselves. I've been beating this drum for 5 years, so it's not moved fast enough for me. But we went from Oval Office executive order signing to this. So here's what I would do with Compass. Let's do a ratio spread. Check this out. What are we at? $10. Let's go all the way out to Jan of 2028. I actually have you can see it on the screen right there. I have a Jan 27 trade. Why? Because I think they're going to submit an NDA right around here, Q4, if not earlier, and we're going to rip. So I have one there, but you know what? I need to add, you ready? I'm going to add one. Jan 28. We're at $10. You could just buy a $10 call, folks. It's $440. I'm going to forget about it. Forget about it. Put it in my filing cabinet. Don't. How about you do something like this? I'm going to buy 10 Jan 28 10 calls. That's $4,400. But I'm cheap. Let's bring the chart up in the background. I'm going to have, any earnings coming up? April 7th. All right. So we got to keep an eye on that too. Folks, we could sell a May. Do I have an 11? We could sell 5. We could sell 5 of May's 11 calls against it. What did I just do? I reduced my cost basis. Why did I sell 5 and not 10? Good question. Even though you didn't ask it, I'm going to tell you why. This is called a ratio spread. Let's say between now and expiration, breaking news, Compass, the FDA commissioner approves something even earlier, and we get a rip even more. I don't want 10 contracts. When you sell a call against this position, you're putting a roof on it. If I only sell 5 of them, I have 5 that can run with it if it runs. Do you understand that? If not, again, this is all covered in your options weapons school training. This is why I do options weapons school training. I'm covering this tactic in 7 minutes. You got an hour of it in options weapons school. And remember, folks, you should feel like right now you're drinking from a fire hose. That's how you should feel, but that's why you go watch your options weapons school training. I'm going long today. We usually only go for an hour because I am slowing down a little bit to dig into the tactics. When you become a member, the first thing you're going to do is go watch all the options weapons school training, download your manuals, and learn this stuff. Why? Because the live trade briefs are the practical application of the training. So I'm half cruising and I'm half going slow. But you will learn why I did this ratio. In case something really, really good happens, I want 5 contracts to be able to run, and I'll close these 5 if they go in the money. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about here? If you don't, maybe I'll have some time at the end here. Okay. So I'm going to grab a screenshot of this. And also, you can grab a screenshot, snipping tool, all sorts of stuff like that. And I'm seeing a ton of questions, which is great. Let me cruise, and I'll try and clean that stuff up at the end. During a regular live trade brief, we usually have about 100, 150 members in here. I'll stop and answer questions as we go, but I want to cruise because I'm seeing some good questions here. But again, when you have 427 people registered There's a lot going on. All right. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Let me, again, I'll blast this out in the hunters. New, what was it, Gen 20? Yeah, Gen 28. Compass, ratio, bullish, ratio, spread. Again, I at everyone, and I'll upload the two screenshots I just took. We're only taking, I don't, like I told you, we don't like a zoo. I don't like a zoo. So only 25 full throttle members. We can take more solo AI folks since that's like our entry level service, but only 25 full throttle membership. So there we go. New post, boom, alert on the app on your phone. Okay. Let's go collab. It's right there. There's all the trades showing up right there. You can even watch these live trade briefs on here. There you go. Jan 28 compass ratio spread. There's a bullish synthetic stock. It's all right here on your phone. The old days, man, it was like an email alert. Then we plussed it up with uh, text alerts, only 160 characters. Man, now we got apps. This is just, it's absolutely awesome. Okay, the third name, what time is it? 11:11. That's a God number. We are on the right path. This name, ladies and gentlemen, a tie. Buy it with both hands. It's a $4.50 stock, folks. This, I would also do options contracts. Okay, I think I sold my ratio, a tie. Mm. Yeah, I'm doing the same thing with the tie, folks. I went all the way out into the future. I have Jan 28 $5 calls, and I sold sevens against them. I'm going to roll those down. I'll do that live with you. We got earnings coming up. Again, oh, these are all, we got earnings coming up, man. I'm going to roll these calls down. Going to take profit. I'm going to adjust and roll these calls down. If you don't know what I'm doing, join and I'll show you all this. Let me roll these down. Buy to close the sevens, sell to open the fives. Is there premium in a five? Yeah, 125 bucks. There we go. Um, Yeah, so these names, I'll grab that one real quick. These names, the earnings, I mean, some of them don't even, aren't even making money now. A tie makes money. I think the Finium, a tie's got existing products. Oh, you know what? Let me share that with you. Psychedelic Alpha. This is the pipeline. Where's the bullseye? Here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, you need this. So I'll zoom in a second here. Here is your psychedelic alpha bullseye. Closest to the bullseye is closest to approval. And it tells you about the medicine. There's a tie with ibogaine. There's 5-MeO DMT. Here's psilocybin names, MDMA. So, folks, and by the way, you're welcome if you're in Demorex. Let me tell you something. An advantage of being a Top Gun Options member, you get invited for private investments. If you are, I think there's like 30 of us that I'm on the advisory board of Demorex. What happened last week? We got in our IND application. They approved it. The FDA approved our IND application, folks, to use oral noribogaine. Not psychedelic at all. The noribogaine is the anti-addictive property in ibogaine. I couldn't even smell alcohol for up to a year after sitting with ibogaine once. It made me ill. I dry heaved. It would make me. Ladies and gentlemen, 29 million Americans are affected by alcohol use disorder. Though that's who admits it. That number's most likely double. So, we just got approval. Dr. Mash sent out this press release last week. I am so thrilled with this, folks. AbbVie came in and bought Gilgamesh for $1 billion. Just the one drug line. Didn't buy the company. Not saying that's going to happen with this, but I am saying it's most likely going to happen with this. So you're welcome. So if you're not a current TGO member, man, you got to join because you can. I'm an investor in Healing Realty Trust. I'm an investor in Demerex. This is fantastic. Pegger, if you are a current investor in Demerex, they're letting you plus up. If you're not an investor in Demerex, it's the 100 grand or whatever it is. You have to be an accredited investor and stuff like that. But there's Demerex. There's a tie. The closer, I'll give you the link to this bullseye. But folks, these are the names that you want to be in. So MindMed used to be called, or Definium used to be called MindMed. Ladies and gentlemen, what's in the middle of the bullseye? Spravato with Janssen. It was a $1.5 billion product. It's S-ketamine, folks. These Compass, Atai, Definium, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, Janssen, they're not going to let these publicly traded psychedelic companies corner the market on this stuff. You will wake up one day, God willing, you will wake up one day and see on CNBC, breaking news, Pfizer has bought Definium for $1.5 billion. The stock's up 300%. And if you're not in it, I don't want to hear you wanking at all. This brief today is giving you clarity into all of that. Yes, let me give you this link. Here is your pipeline bullseye chart. Go look at this on your own, man. Dig into all this stuff. Okay. What else did I want to give you? I mean, this is great news. So, Pegger, I think you are a current investor in Demerex. If you're not a current investor in Demerex and you're a TGO member, you can email the CFO, John Thomas, if you want to invest at the normal people's rate. This is why you need to join TGO, folks. We've gotten into a couple of these because of good stuff. And you're welcome. But one team, one fight. Okay, what time is it? I went way long, folks. It's supposed to be an hour-ish, but I took about 10, 15 minutes to do a little bit of an intro. Let me show you, because I did get 2 buzzes already. That means somebody might have went to the replay page and already bought. So ladies and gentlemen, full throttle. You are in full throttle right now. Today and tomorrow are full throttle. Wednesday will be solo AI. We're going to talk about Amazon and all the AI names. I will give you another proprietary $5 grand hedge fund report on the AI sector. I'm waiting a couple days to update it with the most current intel. But right now in full throttle, folks, let me give you the link. If you felt like you were drinking from a fire hose and you knew nothing about Top Gun options, welcome aboard, because that's how I wanted you to feel. You need to become a member and start watching your options weapons school training. Let me go show you where all that stuff would be. Right underneath replays here, this is our member area. I'm going to post this brief right here underneath the primary trade brief when we get done. But here, ladies and gentlemen, is where options weapons school is. As soon as you join today, and again, we're only taking 25, go click here on options weapons school and start watching, baby. We have people who watch these things. I watch the session on double verticals 20 times, man, because I get something new out of it each time. I love hearing that. So here you go, folks. There's all the sessions over here on the right. I don't even talk about options until session 2, essentially, man. Over here are your workbooks where you can download the primary, intermediate, and advanced workbooks. There you go. Catherine watches them a bunch of times. I love doing these briefs with current TGO members in here so you can check out what they have to say on everything. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we close the doors for full throttle tomorrow. We'll close the doors for solo AI on Wednesday. But if you want to kick the tires, it's $295 a month. but like I said, just about everybody's right here in the middle, 29.95 a year. I can make that in a single one or two S&P 500 trades. I haven't shot an S&P 500 trade because look at this. What did I tell you we're going to do? We're going to hover. Let's go look at SPX. Usually by now I've shot an S&P 500 trade. There's no movement because we're in a hover. We're either going to break, and you see these lines on here, the S&P 500 moves in $25 increments, right? These are magnets. There's a 50, there's a 25. So we're hanging at a 25 here. I'll teach you this too. This is in your options weapons school training, how to shoot S&P 500 snipers. Okay. At $295 a month, you do not get access to that hunters area. Okay. That's reserved for people kicking the tires for a couple months to check out the hunters, or people who are like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to test fly anything else. Let's go, Wiz. We're going to get airborne here. 29.95 for the year. And like I said, that's a single S&P 500 trade out of the Wiz Fighter. This ain't hard, man. Okay. Any questions on Full Throttle? And I'll try and clean up for about 10 minutes with some questions here. This will be the replay page. If you showed up late, here's where I'm going to post this replay and everything else, the other three this week. Okay. These are all the stuff from the last time. Buy psychedelics. There you go. That's what we talked about. We will talk about that bullish on America trade tomorrow. And somebody asked about Raytheon. We'll talk about Raytheon tomorrow too. It's a screaming buy on this pullback, obviously. But yeah, we can talk about Raytheon. Martin, aren't those graphics cool? It's cool for me as a business owner. You know who it's not cool for? The two people we got rid of. Making a graphic like that would have been like 500 bucks. It's free. It's not free. It's 20 bucks a month. Look at these graphics, folks. Trump always checks in. Look at that one. These are all AI images, man. I used to have to get a graphic designer. I mean, look at that one. Profit off AI before it kills us all. All I said to chat was, give me some bullish stock market imagery and AI imagery, and here's the headline. Boom. A minute later. I'm telling you, man, this is bad. It's good for me as a business owner. It's bad. So the S&P finally broke. Let's go look real quick. There you go. We broke below a 25, so that'll be the next target would be 71.25 down there. All right, let me scroll up and just try and get some questions. Again, I apologize because there's so many questions going on. Earnings don't matter as much. No. Income. Yeah, I agree with that, Alan. RTX, we talked about that. Does the high implied volatility really matter with risk? Yes, with a maybe, no with a but. To be honest with you, we cover that in Full Throttle training, historical versus implied volatility and all sorts of stuff like that. Win, great question. What happens if this trade goes against you? So in those bullish names, I do not do synthetic stock on any names that I do not think are going to move up and to the right. If one of those names that we just did synthetic stock on hit my disaster put, that's when I kind of scratch my chin and go, okay, should I eject out of this trade at this point? I knew my max potential loss. I do not do long-term bullish synthetic stock trades on names that aren't going to move up and to the right. The only, you ready for this? It was Apple, wasn't it? There might be, in 30 plus years of doing this, only one time in my career has a disaster put been green. It was Apple in when was that? 2012, 15, when it broke 100. I had synthetic stock on Apple. It hit the disaster put. I think the disaster put was at 90. What did I do? I closed the disaster put that was making money, and I took that profit and bought more Apple. And what happened? Apple never looked back. So good question, Win. Tomorrow, when I start doing like our S&P 500 trade and stuff like that, credit spreads, I'm going to talk more about my ejection criteria in those individual names. But the psychedelic names that I covered today, I'm in it to win it. I know the max potential loss in that trade. I'm not closing those things. I'm adding to them on a pullback. You just saw some of your fellow or potential TGO members like, man, I added to all these names and I'm up, who was that? 6,000%. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Um, John, you will get so the during the brief, the alerts go to your app. Your phone lights up. You go to the app. After we get done a brief, I still go old school. I'm going to stretch my legs, get some more coffee, and then I type up an email and I'll shoot out an email to follow up this brief with screenshots of the trade. I don't know why I do that, to be honest with you. It's duplicating work for me. Just people like getting an email after the brief. So you get both, John. Absolutely. Victor, no. Great question. With synthetic stock, the risk of assignment on the short put. Victor, if you look at a synthetic stock trade, it's a wide bull put spread, right? The short put and you got a long put down here. That's a credit spread to help you buy the long call. So you don't run a big risk of assignment on that, not at all, because it's years into the future. Joe, you're right. That's right. That's right. It was two A's. I had A's on my brain. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there was another name that the disaster put got hit. Thank you, Joe. Yes, so Joe nailed it. There was another time I failed. I'm kidding. Where the disaster put got hit green. It was here. What did I tell you to do with it? Like sell the wife and kids, mortgage the house, buy Amazon down here. Close. Yeah, it was. You're absolutely right. I closed my disaster puts in Amazon and bought more. And we went from, what was that? 155 to 265. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the mutual support. Now I'll remember that. It was two A's. I've had two names hit disaster puts, and they were both solid names. So I bought more of it, right? What did I tell you halfway through this thing? I keep 25 to 50% in cash at all times. I am never 100% fully invested in the market. If you're getting a margin call on a market pullback, you're doing it wrong. You should never get a margin call. You should always have some cash to walk in to profit potentially as people panic, right? This is funny. We'll talk about Amazon on Wednesday, but look at this gap up on earnings. Why did we gap up on Amazon earnings? Oh my God, Wiz, do you see how much they're spending on AI and CapEx? Why did we gap down on earnings? Oh my God, do you see how much we're spending on AI and CapEx? This earnings on Wednesday is going to be one of these. It's either going to be that or it's going to be that. It's going to be a binary trade, folks. I think the market is back to saying who is spending the most and cornering the market on CapEx and with AI and CapEx. It's Amazon. Buy Amazon with both hands. It's our core holding in our solo AI model portfolio. So there you go, Eli. That worked out well for you, didn't it? So I will give you the most up-to-date solo AI intelligence report on Wednesday morning. Okay. Yeah, this one is from 2 weeks ago. I need to update it with the most current information, intel. So this is it. The AI infrastructure supercycle report. Man, this guide is tight. Amazon, my price targets. We got Nvidia, Broadcom, all these names. You see Broadcom recently and GEV. Woo, GEV is GE Vernova. Do you see that rip recently? So come Wednesday, you're going to get this AI supercycle report with my targeting list and the prices and all that type of stuff. This thing that's again worth its weight in gold. Okay. All right, man. I went a half an hour long. My apologies, but I had to do that. Usually in full throttle, we go a little longer. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm simulcasting right now on our YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed to this. Go right now. Barry, if you didn't see me close it, I'm still in it. Absolutely. There isn't one name in the solo AI portfolio that I wouldn't buy with both hands today. All right, guys, that's four. There are four full throttle annual memberships that are gone. Um, so, what's that? 21 more members. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we're going to do our Bullish on America trade. We'll cover Raytheon and the war trades. And then Wednesday, it'll be solo AI. We'll talk about the names in the AI sector to buy with both hands, and also, Amazon earnings, man. We're gonna preview all that stuff. I love Full Throttle, man. I love meeting we the people and the masses out there. Sorry I went a little bit long, but like I said, we had to do a little intro. Make sure you watch the Welcome Aboard brief. If you didn't watch that already, right here. I'll give you that. Okay. That's me, man, in Chicago. Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. I was Valentine. You are welcome, Kevin. You are welcome, Martin. All right, folks, I got to go. I'll get the replay posted here on the replay page a little shortly. 21 memberships left. I will see many of you tomorrow morning in our accelerated retirement live trade brief at 10 a.m. Eastern. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Go Flyers. Namaste and Basi. Basi. Basi means truth. Cheers, and I'll talk to you guys later.